many these days in our personal life, in our business life. And today we're talking about distractions in your business. Hi, I'm Christine Rothdeutsch, and I'm host of Make It Click. And today I'm happy to have as my guest Consuela Muñoz. Welcome to the show, Consuela.
Thank you, Christine. I'm super excited to be with you and all your audience today.
So today we're talking about distractions. We're talking about that shiny object syndrome and your favorite squirrels. Um, wait a minute, there was one here. um, yeah, we get so many distractions. And electronics, I think, is probably a big part of our problem. And again, whether you're a business owner or an employee, listen up. I want the audience to understand what we're talking about today is crucial for everybody because these things are really taking away from our productivity of being effective in whatever it is that we're doing. But I want to, first, can we take a look at distractions? And there are some I think, that are those small ones that, you just kind of push aside. But I think we're talking more about the major ones that really pull us to be doing something we're not supposed to, or just, freezing up. So is that kind of where you are really honing in on, is the major distractions?
So there are, as you say, there are two kinds of distractions for me. There are the day-to-day things like the electronics and social media and that sort of thing. And then there are the bigger things that get in the way, those new projects and training and all those bigger things that really are keeping us from the success we want. The day-to-day ones, we can come up with lots of little strategies to control them. But the strategy that helps control the major ones also controls the smaller distractions, if you will.
So what explain to me though, and I need to know where things start. And sometimes I'm good at figuring these out, and sometimes I just can't get there. But like when you think about distractions, like really, where does it start? What's the root cause of the distraction? And then ultimately, how is that impacting our productivity?
Yeah, so root cause, it's hard to say exactly every person's root cause, but there are a few things that are um, something I see a lot, right? So that, especially if you're entrepreneurs, but even if you're working for someone else, you can be afraid of success, you can be afraid of failure, you can just plain be afraid, and those, you know, well, one of the things those are the things that really get us almost looking for distractions as a way out of doing what we need to do. It's almost like a way to do that. We also get a really good dopamine hit when we start something new. So that might be a reason why you would start something new and chase that shiny object, go after that squirrel or that new idea, because then you don't have to deal with what you're working with when it's hard. One of the things that I realized is, yeah, and they'll say squirrel, and oh my gosh, you're busy over there chasing the squirrels. You're distracted. Everybody knows squirrel, distracted. We're chasing those distractions. And what I've really found with the folks that I've been working with, and as I've continued to study through this, is that what we're really chasing is not squirrels. We're squirrels, and we're chasing success. We're chasing the success that we don't have yet. So if we started something and it's not giving us the results we want, or it's about to give us the results and we're scared of it, that's when we start looking for a distraction, so that we either will continue to fail, or this isn't working, so we want to find something quick, versus sticking with something long enough for it to be successful. So for different reasons, but oftentimes we're looking for a way out of doing what we're doing because we want more success than we have right now.
Oh, that's very interesting. That's an interesting way of looking at this whole topic of what's really deep inside of us and what's really going on. And as you say, it could be, the fear of success, oh, if I do succeed at this, oh, where am I going to go now? Or say, I don't like to fail, but then there's something deep inside that just feeds that, just keeps feeding that failure. It's like, see, I
Well,
told you.
and one of the things that people have this want to be right. People want to be right. And if you're telling yourself that I'm not successful, if you're telling yourself I'm always a failure, this never works for me, it is a stronger driver for you to look for ways so that you're failing than it is to just keep pushing and get that success, because we want to be right more than we actually want to succeed. And realizing that can be the thing that helps you get out of that story, gets out of that place where you're stuck, and move past it and do the hard work to move past that.
Mm. Yeah, as you say, the hard work.
Yeah.
It's easy. I'm just gonna
I don't
do
want
the
to
easy
lie to
stuff.
anyone and say it's easy, because it's going to be hard, but
Yes,
it is doable.
yes,
It is
yes.
doable, more doable than you think. But as I know, there are some days when it's like, there are tough days. There are tough days, and we have strategies around making sure that what you're going after is so important to you that you'll continue to do it, even on the rough days, even on the days when you're feeling bad, when we're, at that pit of shit, right? Like, we will keep working and get past that, because what we want is so important. But until you make your goal, the result that you want, connected to you, on the rough days, you'll be like, oh, let me find a squirrel. Let me find a distraction.
Well, and I know personally, I know the feeling, one of, going towards that squirrel to be, go do something else. It's not what I should be doing. And at the end of the day, feeling, it's not a great feeling, but I also know that feeling of at the end of the day when I have done what I needed to do and I pushed through it. And I keep that at the forefront. Remember that feeling, get that feeling back again instead of having that crappy feeling at the end of the day.
It's interesting when you describe that. I have a thing for that. There's a lot, we see a lot around self-care. Oh, self-care is important. And I agree, self-care is important. But sometimes people need to realize that action is self-care. When you push through, when you take the action you're supposed to take, you're supposed to be doing it, and you do it, that can feel way better than a nap or a bath, because you'll get closer to what you want. So yes, action is self-care, pushing through it, not choosing greatness in that moment versus pulling back. That is how we get past these distractions.
Right. So you have a process that you call the gear process. Would you explain that for us?
Yeah,
And now this is a short show, so we don't
yep,
have the
yep.
next hour to so
Yeah, and I'm known for making a short story long, so I won't do that here because we are on a short show. But for me, that is, it's time, y'all. It's time to get your tail in gear. Now, I could use any kind of word there. I go with squirrel tail, right? Get your tail in gear, but you know what I mean. And it's also an acronym: goals, evaluate, accountability, and rewards. And all of those come back to the first one is goals. And this is what I was saying a little bit earlier.
Mhm.
And you've heard SMART goals, and SMART goals are just silly to me. They aren't going to hit the mark, right? The number one reason that people don't hit their goals, don't achieve their goals, is because someone else has set them. And you would think, as an entrepreneur, you set your own goals, right? Wrong. You do, but also you often set goals you think you should get. So they're not the same as what I'm talking about. And what I'm talking about is writing that goal in such a way that you feel it inside. You have a strong, positive, emotional response to that goal. You have to have that goal more than anything else. In that way, it becomes stronger than the distractions. could ever possibly be. And that way, on those tough days, you'll do it. But it's easier said than done, writing this goal. So that is something I really help people walk through, because again, when you talked about root cause, we really need to get deep with people to attach themselves to their goal. So for an example, a friend of mine, a client of mine came in, and she sees patients in her home, in her own office. And she was, I can't get new patients because my office is so cluttered and so messy. I don't feel comfortable bringing them here. And I've been trying to clean my office for years, and I have all these things to do, and I can't get it done. She was filled with I can'ts and I can'ts and I can'ts, and getting office clean. And she had been trying for years. And so we did the work to figure out, how do we write this goal that matters more to you than cleaning the office, because cleaning the office was not helping her achieve it. So we did this work. It's kind of a 5 why what question that I ask people. Why do you want to clean your office? What will you have when it's clean? And then when we get what she'll have, we ask, why is that important? What will she have when she has that? And so when we get to the end of this process, her goal was no longer to have a clean office. Her goal was to create the power center of her business. That became her goal. Now, as part of our thing, we'll talk about E and accountability, but we operate on a 12-week year. So that's 12 weeks is a year. And it's not, quarterly. It's just thinking about time in a different way. But she was able to make significant progress even by 4 weeks. She was making progress. Now she's went through that 12-week year. She has a whole new standard that she operates in her business office and even in her home, because she followed this process. Now, the rest of them, E, evaluate everything. And y'all, I mean everything, every idea. So if you think, I should do this training, or I should get the software, I should, all these things that you think you could do, should do, maybe they're brilliant. I don't know about you, but all my ideas are brilliant, right? So you have these brilliant ideas, but you need to test them against that goal. So once you've written that strong goal, is this class you're thinking of taking, is this training, is this certification, or this software, is it going to help you achieve your goal right now? If yes, that's an action. If it's not, that's a distraction, and you don't do it. You don't give it any time, money, or effort. No mental space belongs to that. You store it, but you don't think about it anymore. Mm-hmm. Accountability, that's that 12-week year. We think about time in a different way. It gives us more urgency. And also, I've found, for those of us that are a little squirrely entrepreneurs, thinking about what am I going to get done in 12 weeks is really helpful, instead of thinking about what am I going to do in that whole year. Like, what am I going to achieve in the next 12 weeks? And then if you want to achieve something else 12 weeks after that, fine. You're good to do that. But as long as you stay focused now. So when you evaluate every idea and you say, no, this one's cool, it's a distraction, maybe it's something cool you can do in the next 12 weeks. Maybe it isn't, but you've stored it. Nothing new gets started once you start the plan. And the plan for the 12-week year, and what we want to focus on, is not the results. It is, but it isn't. So when I talk about the goal and having that really important goal, it comes down to actions, because y'all, you can't control what the results are. If you are trying to get people signed up for your program, you can't control whether they sign up or not. You can't. You have no control over what somebody else does. However, if you're trying to get someone to sign up for your program, and your action is, I need to contact 5 people a day and invite them to sign up for my program, you can control whether you call 5 people every day. You have complete control over that. If you're like, well, I only called 1 person twice this week. No one signed up for my program. This isn't working. It's not working. We didn't do the actions. But if you are calling people, calling 5 people every day, you're going to get people signed up for your program. So we change the focus from results to actions, because when we do that, we have control over whether we're going to do that. We decide in that moment to take action, right? I said action is self-aware. We care. We decide to take the action, and the results are implied. The results will happen. If we're taking the actions with that frequency that we prescribed, we're going to get that. So that's like the gist of it. But the R is rewards. And the rewards is great. Everybody gets really excited. Wow, we're going to have rewards. But you know what I find? People don't spend their rewards. So you get really excited. This is supposed to motivate you to do the thing, whatever action you're supposed to take, whatever result you're trying to achieve. And this is going to motivate me. And you can even earn it and be like, yeah, I got this reward. But did you spend it? So we put a lot of focus on not only picking rewards that align with our goal, but rewards that are actually going to motivate us, and then taking the reward, spending the reward that we've earned. That is our gear process. And that really has made a lot of difference in how those squirrely entrepreneurs like me focus and get things accomplished in 12 weeks that maybe they wouldn't have accomplished in an entire year in the past.
I when you talked about taking the actions instead of being focused on the result, I was like, I'm there with you, Consuela. I totally am in alignment with that. Having had coaches over the years, it was so disheartening. It's like, oh, set a monetary goal. Well, it almost never comes to fruition. But when I decided on my own to focus on the actions, I said, well, wait a minute. I can control the actions I'm taking. If I keep doing what I'm supposed to do and enough of it, yeah, then the monetary goal will be, it will be met. But you are so right with that about the focusing on the actions that we do have control over. And that's all we can be concerned about is what we're doing. We really don't have, control over the outcome. It's just the more you put out there, the more you do the work,
Yep.
it will come back at you. So
100%. And for me, I made a big, goofball face when you said monetary goal, because you can go to so many different goal setting things, right? Especially in the fall, like, oh, goal setting for the next year, whatever. And those never worked for me. And I think part of the thing is that monetary goal. And what I'm started to realize, because it really doesn't work for me to set a monetary goal. Now I have to have an idea what that number is, what number I want to make. But in writing the goal that I want to achieve this much money, or I want to earn this much money, or that doesn't motivate me. And I think in part for me, I'm very visual. And so it's easy when you think about having a power center of your business or having a clean space, right? Like you can easily visualize this. If I'm trying to make $100,000, the only way I can actually visualize that is, when there's like a hostage and they go get a briefcase full of cash, like that's the only visual I have for that. That's not helping me in my business. Like I can't visualize $100,000. And even like trying to visualize, like, what would that look like in my, the accounts, it doesn't, with the number doesn't mean bupkis to me. So I have to find a different way to word that goal that really means something to me. And so I look at other reasons, like I know the number, I can know the number, but that's not what's in the goal. What's driving me is that. And because what I found is even with that, having a number goal and knowing why you need it because you want respect and all these things, it doesn't touch you in the same way that you'll commit to the actions you need to take, right? So when you own a goal, that's accountability. You own your goal. And when you own a goal, you will commit to the actions. And just having a number there, I found that people don't necessarily commit to the actions in the same way. But when you look at why do you want that money and what is it going to do for you, and write the goal accordingly, that's when people start saying, okay, I can do these actions. I can do these actions. When it's not so number driven, because the number itself is just a number.
Wow. Oh, this has been wonderful, Consuela. I seriously hope that our listeners have been taking notes on this. So if somebody wants to learn more from you, or get
their tailing gear.
Get their tailing. How can they do that? What is it that you wanted to share with the audience today?
So I have a quiz for y'all. It's really fun. It's really quick. It's less than 5. It's barely a distraction. And it really is a squirrel quiz. What kind of squirrel are you? So I'm also a strengths coach. So it's loosely based on strengths, but more specifically, it's based on what are the kinds of distractions that are most likely to tempt you. And once we know that information, we can kind of use that to benefit you. It'll also let you know how much is it costing your business to chase after all those different ideas, those different distractions. So you take the quiz, then we can have a conversation and get you on the path to achieving more every 12 weeks than you would in a year before this.
Okay, and they can go to
Well,
squirrelquiz.com, and we're giving the audience permission to be distracted this one
yeah.
time, to go and take this quiz because it really will help them. So Consuela, is there anything else that you would like to share with the audience?
Just you guys, when you get your tail in gear, you can achieve big things. And it's time. It's time to get your tail in gear.
Well, thank you so much, Consuela, for being my guest today on Make It Click.